Welcome to Life Hacks with the Tipman. I am Tim Thompson, the aforementioned Tipman. Really appreciate you being here. I think we got some good tips for you today. We're actually going to focus on travel tips. We're going to talk about what you need to know before you go into a new country. Also, we're going to talk about what my new favorite food is from Hong Kong. I'm telling you, this thing is delicious, man.
Nice.
But hey, again, thanks for joining. If you subscribed, great. If you haven't, please do so. In fact, for today only, if you subscribe today, my producer Paul will come to your birthday party.
What?
Okay, maybe not. But if he did come to your party, you'd have a great time. I'm just saying. Anyway, on with the show. For this next tip, I want to talk about what you need to know before you go to a new country. And I travel a fair amount. In fact, I was thinking about it the other night. I think I've actually been to 9 countries year to date. My producer Paul travels more than I do. Paul, have you been more than 9?
70.
Okay, all right, he wins. Anyway, do travel a fair amount. Whenever I'm going to a new country, I like to research it, and I research the 4 C's. The 4 C's. It's customs, cash, cabs, and crime. I look up those 4. And let me start with customs. When you're going somewhere, it's a really good idea to kind of understand what customs are different than what we have in the U.S. I'll give you an example. In Japan, when you ride the subway, you don't talk. There's no conversations. You don't answer your phone. You don't offer a seat on the subway to an elderly or disabled person. They will ask you if they want your seat. In the U.S., totally fine and appropriate, right thing to do, but in Japan, they view it as, hey, you're saying I'm old and feeble and I need your seat, and they're offended. So again, it's a good idea to research customs. Cash, the second C. So you need to know the exchange rate. You need to know what the currency looks like before you get over there so you don't get ripped off. But the other things you really need to know, does the economy run on cash or credit cards? There are some countries that as soon as you get off the airplane, you need the local cash just to even get through customs or whatever. Egypt, I'm looking at you. So you need to research that just so you don't get caught short. Cabs. So Uber has made traveling around the world fairly easy, and Uber is almost everywhere, but it is not everywhere, and there are certain countries that you have to use a local rideshare app like Grab, Go, Cabify, or one of those. So you need to know which one it is and download the app before you go. The other thing about cabs, it's a good idea in your research to see if there's any kind of customs you need to know. I'll go back to Japan as an example. In Japan, if a cab is available, the red light's on. If it's taken, the green light is on. So you'll see Americans sometimes trying to wave down the cabs with the green light, and of course they just go by, and I'm sure the Americans are going like, hey, what's up with this? So again, you need to do your research. The fourth and final C, to me, is the most important of all, and that's crime. So almost every tourist destination you go to around the world will have some tourist-specific scams that are done, and you need to know what they are. I was actually in Istanbul, I guess 2 years ago, and Istanbul is famous for the shoeshine scam. I won't go into detail here. You can look it up and you can see what it is. But someone tried to do it on me, and I knew what it was and just ignored it and walked on. But again, almost every country has something. And more importantly, it's a good idea to research what laws are in that country that are very different from our country. And I have a really sad example about that. Last year, Jared Shaw, he's an American basketball player, he'd been living in Thailand playing over there, and because of a medical condition, he was using cannabis gummies. Well, he went up to Indonesia, which is just north of Thailand, for a couple weeks to see some friends, and he'd ordered some cannabis gummies while he was up there. Well, in Indonesia, it's a crime. It's a serious crime, and he was actually arrested. The Indonesians feel they actually gave him a light sentence. Rather than death, he got 2 years in prison, and that's where he's at today. So, and I understand he's not doing well. So, you really need to do your research. It used to be kind of hard to do this research, but now with AI, you can do it in under 20 minutes. Just use a couple of the AIs to make sure you're getting good scoop. For this next tip, I want to talk about pickpockets. And I'm going to kind of break the tip up into men and women because it's a little different. So for men, if you're traveling overseas and you're going someplace where you're going to be in a major tourist hub, but the crime is not that bad, like Singapore, okay? What I normally do is I'll take my wallet out of my back pocket, put it in my front pocket just so I'm kind of aware of it and kind of keep track of it or whatever. You know, it's not a bad idea. Now, if I'm going to a place where pickpocketing is well known to occur and crime can be high and it's a very congested, think Rome, okay? Rome. I will not take a wallet. I will take a money belt. And I have to tell you, I hate money belts.
Are you serious?
They're uncomfortable, they can be hot. I'm just not a fan. Personally, what I use instead of the standard money belt is I use a flip belt, which is really an exercise belt, but I use it as a money belt. And actually I use the version that unzips, so you can actually take it off easily. You can put a couple things in there. You can actually even fit your passport in there if you need to. It's just a little more comfortable. Actually almost seems like a piece of your clothing. For women, the big thing is your purse. And I have to say, in North America and Asia, this is not as big of a deal. But in Europe, women, this is huge. You really want to have a special purse when you go over there. There are purses like this one from Travelon that are designed for going to Europe because the straps are actually slash-proof. It's hard to cut them. All the zippers can actually lock down so someone can't really try to open the zipper and stick their hand in there, because that will happen. The other thing too is if you are going to Europe, I highly recommend that you get an Apple AirTag or Android equivalent to go ahead and put in there, because a lot of times the criminals will steal your purse, take the money, and just leave the purse on the side of the road. And you want to try to collect it, so not a bad idea. Something else I want to point out to women specifically is when you're walking around Europe, it's really a good idea not to walk next to the road. When you're on the sidewalk, try to walk away from the road, because a common scam over there is to have a guy pull up on a moped, grab your purse, gun it, and take off. In fact, I actually saw that occur in Florence a few years ago. The other thing I want to warn women about is if you're in Europe and you see young kids come up to you, your antenna needs to go off. The bad guys in Europe know that US women are suckers for kids, and their defenses will typically go down. So they will use kids as either a distraction or to scam you. So you just need to really be careful when the kids come up. I really like this tip. I've been using it for years. Whenever I travel overseas, when I check into the hotel, I'll always ask the hotel to give me some of their business cards. And the reason I do this is because if I'm ever out and about and I need to catch a cab back to the hotel, I'll just pull out one of the business cards, hand it to the taxi driver, and so they can look at it and take me right where they need to go. I mean, the cool thing is it's got the name of the hotel, it's got the address. If they're confused, it's got a phone number they can call to verify which hotel it is, if it's like a franchise or something like that. I've actually had to use this a number of times where the taxi cab driver seemed to be getting a little lost and I had to pull this thing out. A scam in Europe sometimes is taxi drivers will take you to the wrong hotel and say, oh, well, you told me to take you here. If you have the business card, that scam's off the table because you're like, hey, I showed you the business card. If you had concerns, you should have dialed that number. The other thing I want to say about business cards, if you're in Asia and you ask for the business cards at the hotel desk, they'll probably hand it to you with two hands. You need to receive it with two hands. It's showing proper respect. Okay, a lot of respect in the business card. The other thing is if you're in like India, Thailand, or some Middle Eastern countries, don't accept or give the business card with your left hand. That's considered impolite in their society, which is a left-handed guy that kind of offends me. But just so you know the custom, if you're in those countries, don't use your left hand with the business card. Recently, I was in Hong Kong, and I've discovered one of my favorite foods. It is called the pineapple bun. This thing is amazing. Basically, what it is it's kind of like a brioche bun, kind of very, very soft. And on top of it, it's got like a dough covering that it's almost like a sugar cookie kind of dough that's been baked on. There's no pineapple in this. They actually score the top of it to make it look like a pineapple. That's why it's called the pineapple bun. But when you order it, it comes out of the oven fresh, warm. They cut it open and they put a big slab of butter in there, close it. So when it's handed to you, it's nice, warm, soft, and that butter is just starting to melt. That thing is amazing. My wife and I have very different palates. Both of us love those things. The people in Hong Kong use it for breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, pretty much all the time. So you're probably going, hey Tipman, why are you telling me about a pineapple bun in Hong Kong? Most Asian markets in the US actually carry pineapple buns. I encourage you to go check them out. If you don't have an Asian market near you, you can go to goldbelly.com and they will actually ship them in frozen from Hong Kong. I'm just telling you, these things are delicious, man. So anyway, hey, I appreciate you being here. Would really love your feedback on the show, what we can do better, what we're doing right. But hey, again, thanks for subscribing. Thanks for being here. Have a great week. Really? Oh, so maybe I didn't need to buy the big screen. That's all right. I need a TV in the garage anyway. My producer, Paul, will come to your birthday party.
What?
Is that okay?
Perfect.